Hey everyone, how's it going? It's that nerd Ryan here, and today we are going to be talking about mutants in the MCU since it's now confirmed. Um, it's been out for more than a week, so sorry if I just spoiled the end of Miss Marvel for you, but honestly, it's on Disney Plus. If you're a Marvel fan, probably already seen it. If not, why are you watching this video if you get something that you could just watch for $7 a month? Anyways, so we're going to try to look and see if there's any other possible mutants in the MCU now that Miss Marvel's been introduced. So what it sounds like is it's still kind of the same fact of you're born with it. You just need some sort of event that catalysts you getting your powers. So, for example, with Miss Marvel, it was her bracelet. If we look at people like Deadpool, it was the torture that he went through. Wolverine was seeing his father being like abusive or whatever it was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I try to forget that movie. Or like stuff like puberty and stuff like that. So that's how we get mutants. So the definition is that you were born with a mutant gene. That's how you got your powers. And it could go from just having a parent that was a superhero that got the power out of a different event. So, like, Mayday Parker is a mutant, technically. Or that you were just born with it randomly. Usually mutants can give birth to more mutants and stuff like that. But, yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through the MCU here, which is why I'm looking over here, just to like refresh if there's anybody that we could think of, but we're going to hit the obvious ones out of the way first. So it's obvious, Miss Marvel, they already stated it. Deadpool is coming into the MCU for Deadpool 3, so technically 1 and 2 are kind of established MCU. We don't know if that's how it's going to work yet, but I'm counting Deadpool in that now too. And then, other than that, we did get to see Professor X, although that was in a different universe. So, really, those 2.5. Yeah, really, those 2.5 are the main MCU mutants that we have. Let's kind of go through Phase 1 right now. Phase 1, there's really nobody that we could see that would be potential mutants in this. This is the origin story for like Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, and Captain America. So, Iron Man, it has no powers. Hulk got gamma radiation. Captain America was experimented on, and Thor is a literal god. And then we're introduced to Black Widow and Hawkeye and that as well, and neither of them have powers. All the villains in this were very much kind of like the antithesis of the superhero, so the villains would not be mutants either. So we look at Phase 2. So we are introduced to the Extremis virus, which is now a mutant virus in Iron Man 3. Malekith, who is a dark elf, so he's kind of like in that god tier, not really god tier, but god tier. So that wouldn't be a mutant. For Captain America the Winter Soldier, we're introduced to Sam Wilson, who again, regular guy. We're reintroduced to Bucky, who again, regular guy that got experimented on. And that's basically it for Winter Soldier. Guardians, we have Peter Quill, and who I would consider technically possibly a mutant, which is going to be kind of weird here. Just let me explain. His dad is a Celestial, and gave birth to him. So Peter was born with those powers. So that would technically fall under mutant. But we have no hint of any of the other Guardians being mutants. That would be the only hint, would be Star-Lord possibly. Any of the other cast we don't, or villains or anything we don't really see. Next would be Avengers Age of Ultron, and here's where it gets interesting. It's quite possible, albeit it's not been completely stated, but it's been said that Wanda had magic before she was experimented on to become Scarlet Witch. And that means that most likely, obviously, her twin brother would be as well. That these two were mutants, that somehow the stones awoken their powers. So, quite possibly, the first mutants, if you don't consider Star-Lord in my headcanon like that, would be Wanda and Quicksilver, which would make sense too, because considering in the comics and everything else, they are both mutants. So it would make sense. AntMan, it's again just regular people that have technology. Civil War, we're introduced to Black Panther, who obviously is not a mutant. Again, it's the suit and then like a particular type of potion that helps him with his powers. And Spider-Man, which again, radioactive spider, not a mutant. Next would be Doctor Strange. Even though certain people have the magic touch in them, that does not mean that they're a mutant. That's just kind of like the Force, in my opinion, for magic in the MCU. Like, you're either born with it or you're not, but it does not mean that you're a mutant. It just means that you can access magic. Next would be Guardians 2, introduced to Mantis. We haven't got her backstory enough yet to know if she would be a mutant. Next would be Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, we're introduced to Spider-Man. That has magic, but doesn't mean that he's a mutant. And the villain is basically a poor man's Tony Stark. So nobody in there. Thor Ragnarok, we're introduced to Hela, Korg. None of them are mutants at all. Black Panther, again, skipping that one because we already talked about that. Avengers Infinity War, everybody that's in that movie has been established. I will say Thanos is a deviant Eternal, so that is not a mutant. It's just a accidental mix between the two, deviant and Eternal. Ant-Man the Wasp, again, skipping that one, mostly established characters. The only one that wasn't was Ghost, and that was a accident for her powers. Then we got Captain Marvel that introduced Carol Danvers. No, she is not, even though Miss Marvel is, but she is not. Endgame, again, skipping that, because that's like Infinity War. Spider-Man No Way Home, or Far From Home, skipping that, because all we get are a guy that's faking being a superhero. So then next we have WandaVision. We get to meet Wanda's kids, even though they are technically not real, but they're also real at the same time. No matter what, they would be considered mutants because they got their powers from birth due to their mom having powers. So yes, her twin sons are mutants. Next we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That is another like experiment gone wrong for the people that show up in that show that weren't already in the show. So nobody in there. Next we have Loki, which mostly deals with like Celestials and everything. There could be, or not Celestials, but like people that are gods and stuff. So, or just regular people that are working a job. I mean, we could have possibly seen a mutant getting pruned or something like that, but nothing in particular that shout out mutant. After that, we have Black Widow. Again, that's a spy movie. They don't really have people with powers in it. And we have Shang-Chi. And then again on that, just a kung fu, or not kung fu movie, but it's a martial art movie with rings that give you powers. As far as we know, they don't work like Kamala's bracelet. But yeah, and then we have Eternals. Nobody in that, they're all celestial beings. No mutants that we know of. Next would be Spider-Man No Way Home, and I am not counting that one because all the villains that are introduced and other heroes are from a different dimension, so that wouldn't matter. Then we have Moon Knight, which, again, basic guy, he's just got DID, so that's not a mutant power to have DID. And then next would be Doctor Strange. It could be possible that America Chavez is a mutant. We don't know her origin well enough to how she got her powers, but it showed up at a young age, caused by a traumatic event. Could be a mutant. Next we have Thor Love and Thunder. And don't believe that we have a mutant in it. Could be possible that you could consider Love a mutant, but she's really just a celestial body, or a higher being put into a body of a young girl. So that is basically it. We're listening through the mutants. We didn't really get much yet, but that could change very soon. And like I said, they could retcon Star-Lord and a few other characters being mutants. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's that Nerd Ryan telling you, have an amazing day.